Hey, what's going on, y'all? Eric Muldrow here with Code Red Conversations. Thanks for joining me today. Today's video is going to be, I don't typically share anything that's fun. I often share things that are pretty heavy hitting, and today is no exception. Once again, I want to appreciate y'all and thank you for joining me on this broadcast. For those of y'all who are unfamiliar with me, I try to keep a balanced approach when I have these discussions regarding law enforcement, regarding my personal thoughts, my personal opinions. Yes, I had a 20+ year career in law enforcement, and that's the reality. I don't shy away from that fact. But I think I've done a pretty good job throughout the course of my career, throughout the course of Code Red Conversations and my career, of being open and honest as I share my thoughts, being critical of law enforcement when necessary, but also defending law enforcement when necessary. Because I think a balanced approach is the only way where you get to the truth. In today's discussion, we're going to be reviewing the tragic situation, the tragic case of Brianna Grier. For those of you who are unaware or unfamiliar, there was an incident that took place in Georgia where a lady was in what it would appear to be a mental health crisis. And her family called seeking some assistance from the police. And man, what transpired was nothing short of tragic and completely unnecessary, how it all went down. So what I'd like to do is just read a little bit more as I kind of go into a tiny bit more detail as what I explained, and then we'll watch the body cam footage. We'll watch primarily the body cam footage. And I'll pause it here and there. I'll offer my thoughts as a former police officer, as someone who was a medic in the Army, who was EMT trained, also, in addition to my Army medical training. Someone with some common sense, at least I'd like to think so. If you talk to some of my family members, they may disagree, but I like to think I have some common sense. And that common sense was these officers just did not think their way through. And it angered me and it disgusted me, to be honest with you, as a video. But you'll see, if you haven't seen it, as the video progresses. But as it goes, I'd love to know your thoughts. So use the chat, comment below. Let me know, give me a yes or give me a Y, like the letter Y, if you're hearing me well, if I'm coming across clearly. Well, let's jump into some additional information. I'll show the video, and then after the video is over with, I'll read an article that goes into a bit more detail as well. So the first thing we have, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation released body cam footage of 28-year-old Brianna Grier, who died after falling from a patrol car. Yeah, you heard that right. Falling from a patrol car on July 15th. According to her family attorney, Ben Crump, I don't even know why that dude just disgusts me, but that's a conversation for a different day. Grier was experiencing a mental health episode when her mother called police to assist her. She died 6 days later. But once again, as the video progresses, please share your thoughts. I believe the officers, one officer's already made contact with her.
You say you want with her? Yeah.
Let me have one. You got your camera?
Yeah.
It's on.
I'm not drunk. I haven't had anything to drink.
Come on. You're going to be public drunk. Come on.
I haven't had
I
anything
can smell it
to...
on you.
No, you can give me bring your breathalyzer. Bring out your breathalyzer. Bring out your breathalyzer. Bring out your breathalyzer.
So what?
Ah! Bring out your breathalyzer. Bring out your breathalyzer.
Grab her.
Ah! Ah! Get out of
Now
me!
you can get charged.
Get out of
Now
me!
you get to get charged. Oh, Lord, she's slipping. That's a hook. Brianna, you don't walk.
Ah!
Grab her.
Ah! Get out of me! Get out of me! Get out of me! Get out of me! I ain't broke no law. I ain't broke no law. Get out of me!
Yeah, lock.
Get out of me!
There we go. It's on lock.
I bet you I hang myself as soon as I get in there. I bet you I hang myself as soon as I get in there. I don't care. It's more the way it was.
Now, the first thing that popped into my head was the question of what their policy is or was regarding someone who's dealing with a mental health crisis. I don't know what took place prior to the body cam footage popping off, starting. I don't know if the officer had a physical confrontation with her. I don't know whether he was going to take her to jail, whether he was going to transport her to get some medical assistance or psychiatric assistance. I don't know. But as soon as she made the statement, this is what I know from my old department, Las Vegas Metro Police. As soon as she made the statement that I bet you I'll kill myself when I get there, that would have, once again, depending on if there were other charges prior to this, that would have switched the whole script up for me. That would have, to me, that would have been an automatic, what we call here is a legal 2000, which is a mental health commitment. And the policy that we had here was you call it in, the dispatcher you let the dispatcher know that you're about to do a legal 2000 on the individual, whoever he or she may be. An ambulance would come to your location, then they would transport them to a hospital where they can get an examination, physical examination, as well as a mental health evaluation, which can be like a 24-hour period and can extend longer if necessary. So I don't know what Georgia, I'm not sure exactly what agency it was in Georgia, but I don't know what their policies is or was, but that's my first area of concern. First thing that popped into my head that worried me was why would an officer need to be transporting someone who's dealing with mental health problems unless he was planning on arresting her? Not sure. Let's let the video proceed.
One way to kill yourself. I know what you told me. It's more than one way to kill yourself. Yeah.
Brianna, get up and walk.
No.
Come on.
Y'all better knock me out. And I got a sting in my heart.
Come on, Brianna.
No, where my brother?
Hold up. I know how to get her up.
Take me. You can take me. You can take me. I don't care. I don't care.
Get up.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Ain't nobody gonna tell you.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Oh boy, it looked like he has no idea how to manipulate that taser. Looks like he's totally confused.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
You got the other side closed? Yeah. You got the other side closed? Yeah.
I think he said you have the other side. I'm not sure. If he did, remember that because that plays a significant role. in this entire event.
Yeah. My damn Bluetooth. My Bluetooth. That thing on my ear. It should be flash.
Just another note. Typically, after you put someone in your vehicle, you're getting ready to transport them. Your responsibility is to secure them inside the vehicle. Oh, one point I wanted to make. I'm gonna have to back up the video just a bit because I want y'all to see this. But once I don't care if they're combative or not, they need to be secured in the vehicle. You can seatbelt them. Reach across them, seatbelt them, have another officer push their head to the side. If you think they might bite you or whatever, use teamwork. Another officer pushes their head to the side while you secure them. Because in no way do you want anything to happen to them while you are driving, especially when they're making the claim, like she is, saying how she wanted to kill herself. Someone could bang their head up against the metal fencing, the little gating in the back, smash their head against the glass. I've seen it all. So you want to minimize that. You want to minimize the risk of them hurting themselves. But let me back up a bit, just a little bit, and just show you how she's handcuffed before we get her, and then we'll get back to where we were. If I can show her right here.
Brother.
Okay, she's handcuffed in the front. In the front, they have her handcuffed. Let me make that a little bigger so y'all can see it. She's handcuffed in the front. I don't think any department in our country has that as a policy. Now, there may be some exceptions. Someone might be too big to handcuff it to the rear. That's why I typically carry 2 handcuffs for even like real big muscle-bound dudes or somebody who's extremely overweight. I typically would carry 2 handcuffs. And here on this call, you had 2 officers. So there was really no excuse to secure her like that. She should have been handcuffed to the rear. That's another issue. As this whole travesty or debacle of a call goes down. All right, let's get back. Now he's spending forever trying to find his Bluetooth. He eventually finds it.
You said flashing.
Yeah, it should be a little. Sorry.
All right. Okay, will your dome light come on in back there?
Yeah.
Cut your load light aside. Keep out.
All right.
I can barely understand him with his country accent. Some.
287 o'clock.
Hey, got 287.
Both units gonna be en route to the SO, 1 female, 1095. We get them out. It's gonna be 146,211.
And another thing is typically when a male officer is transporting a female victim, female suspect, obviously most likely a female suspect, you give the mileage. You let them know what the starting mileage is and what the ending mileage is, just so it can be easily traced to where the starting location was to your final destination. Just in case anyone tries to make any claim that you did any kind of sexual misconduct or whatever, took them somewhere and did X, Y, Z, you'll have all that information logged in the computer as far as what the mileage was. And that usually keeps problems to a minimum. I'm sure that happened. I'm sure at one point or another, somebody made a claim like that, and it actually where an officer was, or at least claimed that an officer did something inappropriate, or there might have actually been occasions where that actually went down. All right. Back to the video.
10-4 starting mileage 146-211-0058.
I think he said something about the dome light when I was having trouble understanding him. I don't know if the dome light was on. Maybe that could have been a red flag that something was up. That maybe the doors weren't secure. So we have the suspect, the young lady victim, handcuffed to the front, unsecured in the back seat. Nothing good can come from that.
Brianna. Hell yeah. We don't need an ambulance. Brianna.
Back door was left open. The back door was left open.
That shit unlocked by itself. You won't call the ambulance.
She's still breathing. Go ahead.
27 here, go.
She getting up. How your back door?
Hang up 27.
Send Grady to their location.
She all right. Sit up.
Now this is the part that it's bad enough. What goes down, what went down already is already bad enough. But this part right here just blew my mind. The way they treated her. She fell out of a moving vehicle. A suicidal woman fell out or jumped out of a moving vehicle. Now watch how they handle her. She's clearly not conscious. Watch how they handle her.
Sit up.
10-4.
Sit up. Sit up. Go ahead, sit up.
You need to check out.
Yeah. She jumped out the car.
Oh my
That
God.
female said just jumped out the vehicle.
10-4.
They take the cuffs off.
Everything I learned, basic first aid. I mean, this is day one. Day one. First aid. Even the stuff we learned in the academy. If someone falls or is unconscious, you do everything you can to maintain their neck. You don't know what level of injury, if any, they have. Whether there's some type of spinal injury, head trauma. Just sit. You don't just grab someone, hold them on their knees, and start slapping them in their face, and then basically just let her fall over. Sick. This. I'm telling y'all, this video, the conduct of these officers, atrocious, disgusting. It sickened me. It pissed me off. It pisses me off every single time I see it. Every single time I see it, it pisses me off. There's no way those officers should be functioning in law enforcement just how carelessly they handled her. Ridiculous. You hit it, Mike. Don't move the victim. Don't move her. Leave her there. You're already in enough trouble. You're already careless. Why make it worse? Why make it worse? Let's let the video proceed. So stupid.
Take the cuffs off. Sit her up. Sit up. Sit up, Brianna.
Look at this. Look at
All
this.
right. You got some water.
No, hell no. Let me get off.
What made it even worse was like neither one of them was able to say, hey, man, maybe you shouldn't move her around like that. Neither one of them had enough knowledge to say, you know what, dude, she fell out of the car, man. Leave her there. Stop moving her around.
Here you go. I can't see shit, man.
Go ahead.
I'm getting in 1018. 27 here, go. Send Grady to 1018. want to take on?
Yeah. How did she jump out? The car don't supposed to be unlocked in the back.
Shit, ain't
We
supposed
just
to.
do a report. She fine.
What?
She fine. You got your light?
No.
She's fine. You don't know that.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Show you something, bro.
Who is that?
Had Greg come in from Hickory Grove side off Show Road.
Check on this.
Yeah, she fine. She can see my finger. She just doggone which car. How your back door open? But that's, we write a report and just say, you know, like you said, you got it. Back door open. We're going to trust, you know. But we good. We good. Just keep it checked.
Y'all look stressed.
No, you're
Yeah.
not good. No, you're not. Good.
Oh,
She fine. Yeah, she fine. She breathing. Brianna. Come on, this Deputy Primer. Come on.
I ain't got nothing in the car, no water, no
Don't
nothing.
worry about it. She fine. Oh, I got a little bit. Hold it right here. Hold it right here. I got a little bit. I just give up.
Look at this. Head flopping all over the place.
Brim. Brim.
Lord have mercy. Anyway, yeah, that's enough. Enough of that. I just don't. I don't understand. I mean, I was truly dumbfounded. I had a friend of mine, officer I used to work with, sent me this video. I just don't understand the mindset. Like, is it the lack of training? You know, I mean, let's look at some of the comments here. Before we move on, I just want to interact with some of y'all's comments. I appreciate y'all joining me again. Clearly a mental health issue at this point. She made at least 2 statements of suicidal threats. Yeah, right. That should have been, again, going back to not knowing what their policies are, maybe they transport mental health suspects or subjects. Maybe that's what they do in their agency. Stupid policy if it is, but who knows? Sounds like poor training. Don, I appreciate you being here, man. Does defending the police lead to better trained police officers? What were the requirements and were they lowered to meet recruit need? Hey, man, excellent question. Excellent question, Don. One thing I do know, nationwide, there is an issue with law enforcement finding the right cops, finding cops that are even, and that has always been the case, finding good qualified officers. But in light of probably the last 7 years or so, around the 7 year, actually more, probably in light of the Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, the George Floyd cases, all these cases has only made it worse as far as has only made law enforcement look bad. And in no way am I making any excuses for these guys. But has only made it more difficult to find good officers, good qualified officers. Because nowadays, nobody wants to be a cop. I can't say nobody, but I know that it's always been difficult. I would say probably even more so in predominantly Black communities, because there's this culture that you can be in corrections, you could be working in jail or the prison, but if you're on the streets patrolling, working as a cop, you're working for the man or you're some sort of a sellout. That mentality is real. That's a real mindset that some people actually have. So you already have a difficult job to fill, which has only been exacerbated, exaggerated, magnified in light of the last 10 years or so of anti-law enforcement rhetoric. A decade, probably over a decade of anti-law enforcement rhetoric, which has only made it worse, made it more difficult to find good cops. And as a result of that, I know that some standards, I'm pretty sure that some of the standards would have to be lowered. Maybe they have less of a physical fitness standard. Maybe they're more lenient on people with a prior history. Maybe they're not as strict on their background check. Maybe they've shortened the academy. Who knows? Yeah, you're talking about them tracking and knowing where you are or who you are in regard to someone making an allegation right. Mike, you nailed it, bro. Don't move the victim. I posted that a minute ago. Don't move her. You don't know what kind of internal injury she has. That was the most ridiculous thing. I think almost the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. She's unconscious. How's she going to drink water? Yeah, it ain't funny, but man, I laugh because it's so pathetic. That's the only way I can put it. This was ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. And then on top of it, she had a head injury. You don't want to give someone water. You don't want them to drink anything. There's so many little things that a little bit of training can go a long way. And these guys clearly didn't have any in the area of any kind of first aid. None. The lack of training was alarming. Brother. Yeah, I mean, I'm almost at a loss for words. What up, my brother? How you doing there? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, man. But yeah, y'all, this here it's just stunning. But let's move on to this news article that I want to share. It goes into a bit more detail as to what happened. Hopefully y'all can see it. I'll make sure it's big enough for y'all to see. But if not, I'll be reading it, so. Okay, let's get to the top here. Two of my least favorite people, Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump, had to rear their ugly heads. Anyway, I think this is dated the 11th or so, this article. Yes, just a few days ago. Hancock County, Georgia is where this whole incident went down. A woman who died after falling out of a Georgia deputy's patrol car was laid to rest on Thursday. Brianna Grier, 28, suffered significant injuries as she was being driven to the Hancock County Sheriff's Office on July 15th and died from those injuries at Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta on July 21st, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation said. The GBI released body camera footage in July that showed Grier on the ground moments after falling out of the patrol car. She died 6 days later. So one thing that was clarified here, now I don't know why she was being taken to the hospital or taken to the police station. Maybe she tried to hit the officer, maybe she was combative, who knows? An autopsy showed Grier had now this is what I was talking about. An autopsy showed Grier had multiple skull fractures and severe brain swelling when she died. So yeah, just snatch her up, smack her on the face, let her head flop around. They only made it worse. And I'm sure she was already in in a bad state after jumping from the vehicle. But you're only making it worse by not knowing what to do with someone who's been injured. The GBI did not explain why deputies were called to the home where they took Grier into custody, nor did it explain why Grier was arrested. Now, hopefully that more information will come out. Her family's attorney, or possibly did come out, maybe I just overlooked it. Her family's attorney said Grier was arrested by the Hancock County Sheriff's Office during a mental health crisis. I don't even want to say the Reverend because there ain't nothing reverend about Al Sharpton. Sharpton delivered a eulogy. That dude only shows up when there's money to be made and when there's a complaint against the police or against somebody who's white. These officers, from what it looks like and what it sounded like, were black officers. I'm just going to skip over this because I don't even want to get pissed off thinking about this clown. I'm already upset over the incident. GBI's agent said the rear passenger side door of the patrol car wasn't closed. Carelessness. The GBI said deputies tried to put Grier in the patrol car. She was on the ground by the rear driver's side door, refusing to get in the car, and said she was going to harm herself, according to the GBI, which is what the body cam footage showed. I'll read this little statement here from the I guess this might be what in regard to the family. Brianna Grier, 28, suffered significant injuries July 15th and died July 21st. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation said this week that the deputies who put Grier in the back of a patrol car to take her to the Hancock County Sheriff's Office failed to close the rear passenger door before driving away. Nothing that we haven't already seen or heard. Deputies walked around and opened the rear passenger side door and then returned to the rear driver's side door. The two deputies put Grier in the back of the patrol car and closed the rear driver's side door. Her hands were handcuffed in front of her body, and she was not wearing a seatbelt. Body camera footage shows the deputies had no other contact with Grier from the time she was put in the car until she fell or jumped out of the moving car. The release said. GBI agents conducted interviews, watched multiple body camera videos, and tested the car. The investigation is ongoing. So this was a failure on so many levels, y'all. So many levels. And there's still many questions to be had. Why was she being taken to jail and not to a hospital for her mental health issues? Now, there could be a clear and justified reason for that. But right now, as far as I know, we're unaware of that. Unsecured in the back seat, handcuffed in the front, back door open. I mean, this was just a series of, it was one poor decision after another. And then once she falls out, their carelessness when it comes down to how to deal with her, this injured woman. I don't know. I truly don't know. I truly don't understand this. If there are any officers or aspiring officers watching this, if you don't take anything else away from this video, understand that you have total responsibility for the suspect, for the citizen, once you take them into your custody. You have complete responsibility for their health and their well-being. It is on you. So everything that takes place from that point on is in your hands. Secure her properly. One of these situations, if they took care of one of the three that led to her falling or jumping out of the vehicle, this whole incident could have been possibly prevented. Had she been handcuffed to the rear, that could have prevented it. At the very least, had she been seatbelted in the vehicle, and Lord forbid, Lord have mercy, close the dang door. Close the door. So I don't know, y'all. Her family deserves to get paid. At the very least, it won't change anything. It won't take away their pain. But at the very least, they deserve to get compensated for their pain, for their agony, for their suffering. I wish they didn't call in the civil rights heroes, quote unquote, Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton, because they're only going to show up if there's money to be made. and try to make everything into a race issue. I'm sure it's a hard call considering the fact that it sounds like I believe there are 2 black officers involved. But I'm sure they'll find a way to spin it because the whole system is racist. That's the claim these days. So they'll try to find a way to make this a racially motivated incident. I don't know, y'all. But appreciate you there, Mike. Thanks for swinging by. Thanks for stopping by. But folks, once again, let me just remove this right here. Yeah, this one was just really sad. This one was just really tragic. And I wanted to go over it because there's already been a lot of light brought onto it. And there's only so much I could do. But I just wanted to, once again, if there are any aspiring officers out there, you are solely responsible for the care of the suspect that you are transporting. So do everything in your power to make sure that you and them, that they make it there to whatever location you're bringing them, that they make it there safely. And don't put yourself in a situation by being careless to where you may end up losing your entire career. But in this situation, it may be the best bet. Not maybe, I think it is the best bet because those dudes are scary and they don't need to be working in law enforcement. But I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Y'all comment down below. I appreciate y'all joining me. I've been putting out more content as of late, trying to just be more consistent because I'm always reminded of how important it is to discuss these issues because there's some voices out there who discuss these issues, these police and these crime and these criminal justice matters, but not many discuss it from my perspective with a biblical worldview and who try to be as balanced as possible. There are people out there who are. I'm not saying that there isn't, but I appreciate y'all stopping by. I should be posting something up here in the next couple of days, Monday at the latest, Lord willing. Once again, I appreciate y'all swinging by. And as always, in the meantime, stay safe, God bless, and make sure you join the conversation.